What's up with, is it true that there's no like overtime? Is there any overtime?
We're not, we literally get written up for 15 minutes. And if you get written up 3 times, you get fired.
So there's no, so they don't allow any overtime?
No overtime. That was really ridiculous, 15 minutes. I'm like, that's, no.
Yeah. Here's what, the way they set it up is no overtime rule. And if you go above like 10, 20, 15 minutes, you'll get written up.
15 seconds, you get written up.
15 seconds, 15
remember
minutes.
Remember she got written up for 50 seconds.
Yeah. So the problem is also their work is classified by time to task. So every night they come in, it's every little second is divided by task.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine because we'll say that's 8 hour works. But the problem is every night is not the same as yesterday, especially with the student. If there's a party, it's totally will be different and it will have heavy demand and you cannot get overtime.
Mm-hmm.
There's what would they call it, work order. So every night probably the client, which is either the student, the teacher, or the administration will request some room to be clean more than it is. Or they will complain about this room is not clean. So that janitor have to clean or spend extra hours. But it's not going to get in overtime. Most of the time, the way our members deal with it is by cutting their breaks and by cutting their lunch breaks. Cutting your lunch breaks and getting your breaks will also get you discipline. So they will not going to come forward and say, hey, I missed my break.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the company control overtimes and people let them work into their lunch hours and their breaks hours.
And
That's a
there-
really big problem. They kept reminding everyone going to people's buildings saying, you need to take a break for a very long time. People are like, no.
Yeah.
So are people working off the clock?
We assume that's the case.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will be so late that they have to clock out at their buildings and then come here, but we're not allowed to do that with the keys that we have. We have to be on the clock because the keys, they go to all the rooms. So if we lose the keys, we get fired. They have to do all the rooms. So they're insured.
But no one's going to come forward and say, I'm working through my lunch break, because if he did that, he's going to get disciplined. But we think that's a standard way people are coping with not overtime.
You might have already covered this. I think you already covered this a little bit. But what's been your experience, voicing to whoever, those above you, there isn't enough. When you have a party or something, I know we can't work overtime. I know we can't work 2 hour breaks, but there literally isn't enough time for us to cover what we're being given. What's been the reaction to that?
We could request for help, but if we're 5 people down, we don't get that help. And sometimes the supervisor, they're not technically supposed to help you, but sometimes they will. But it's mainly, they'll say, we have to get everything done, so they're telling you just pretty much to go faster, and it's not possible. They can't tell you to cut your workload because you agreed to a contract. So it's just pretty much you're left to the workers, we have to figure out how to even it. And it's is this going to screw me over the next day, or can this last?
So currently our biggest demand on the table is workload protection. And we know that's also what the management doesn't want to see, because that's where they're making their money, that's why their profit is, whatever it is. So that will be the sticking point. So wages, which is 15, what we are demanding, and workload protection, and those other things going to be a sticking point to settle this contract.